Did we do it? Are we back in here? My goodness, man. Wow, wow, wow. It's so good to be back with y'all. This last 48 hours has been insane, but we did it. We got the Saturday live stream going down. Shout out to the gang. So good to see y'all, man. I missed y'all. It's good to be back. Welcome to everyone that's in here. You know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We looking all crispy and clean on the screen. And welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE Morning Show on a Saturday morning, by the way. I'm your host, ClassE, at patreon.com/ClassEbeats. The link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. And this morning we got a lot of Karen Reed for you. We're going to talk about Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk because we've got some updates when it comes to Tyler Robinson. There may be some information missing about Tyler Robinson. No one's surprised on this, especially if you've been following the investigation into the assassination of Charlie Kirk. But before we get into it, I gotta say what's up to the people, man. Shout out to everybody who's in here. Big shout out to my awesome, amazing Amy, man. When I say awesome and amazing, y'all have no idea how invaluable Amy is. Thank you for everything you do, Amy. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you. You're amazing. Shout out to Amy in here. We've got Valerie's back in the building. What's up, Valerie? Valerie, you're not the one who's been going at it with Turtle Boy, are you? I know there's a Valerie out here that's some major beef with TB. I wonder if that's you. We ain't got no quits in here. Good to see you. We've got Phoenix Moons is in the building. B-Mac up in this thing. Shout out to Nana Banana. And I will be saying what's up to y'all as we go throughout the morning too. We got a great show lined up for y'all today. If you haven't yet, I don't ask for much, but please make sure that you like the video on your way in. Likes are free, helps the channel continue to grow, lets the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the show, shares the video, the channel, this live stream with more people. There are already 600 plus of you that have liked the video. I'll give y'all one more round of applause. Thank you for doing that. It's free. It takes less than a second. It helps out a lot. So on your way in, please make sure you do that. And thank you to those of you that have. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, you can share the video as well. All you have to do is click the share button and it's got an arrow that's curved pointing to the right. You can share to Facebook, Instagram, X, and even to your group chat or in a text message. So so many of y'all do that as well. Thank you to those that do. And last but not least, I will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show. So many of y'all go the extra mile and drop super chats, and I will be reading those as well. I appreciate those of you who support in that way too. All right, In Blue is up in this thing as well. Good morning, In Blue. Good to see you. How's everybody doing? Hopefully y'all are having a good Saturday. Got some Thanksgiving plans coming up next week. Let me know what y'all got going on next week. Let me see. What are y'all saying in the chat? Let me see. I'm trying to see what y'all are saying. Oh, you're asking about super chats. Yep. Shout out to YouTube with the super chats. All right. We're going to go ahead and get into the show. And before I do, shout out to Amy in here. You know what time it is. Doing it all. If y'all don't follow Amy's channel, please make sure you subscribe to Amy's YouTube channel. She does a great job, makes some amazing content over there. She premieres videos during the week, and we have a great time in the live chat while she's doing premiere. So if you haven't checked out her channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell over there so you don't miss any time we're over there watching a premiere or checking out a new video or a YouTube short. She just gifted 5 memberships. So if you got a membership from Amy, make sure you say thank you. Also, check out the members only content. And as a member, your name's highlighted in green and you get instant access to all the videos we drop here on the channel. So if you haven't checked out the videos yet, please make sure you check out the members only videos and take advantage of all the opportunities as a member. Also, Nana Banana is in here. Oh my goodness, has been a member for a whole year. Wow. Shout out to Nana Banana. Says a year today. You always make my day, is what I think she meant to say, brighter. Going on a kayak Monday. Ooh, that sounds like fun. Nana Banana, where are you at? What state are you in? I want to know what the weather is going to be like. Kayaking sounds fun. The kids have been begging to go kayaking. We haven't made it out yet. And honestly, I want to try and do it before the weather gets too cold here. So, oh, you in Florida, man. You're going to be kayaking all the way until January. January 1st, y'all still be out there kayaking. Thank you for being so much of a supporter, Nana Banana, for a year. I can't believe it. A year ago this time, I think we were still covering YSL at that point. I know Young Thug had gotten out or had taken his plea 4 weeks ago at this point last year. Right on Halloween, he took a plea. And we still had a couple others that were having to deal with this YSL RICO. We had Yak Gotti was in there. We had Shannon Stillwell was still in. And of course, we know both of them were found not guilty of basically everything. Shannon Stillwell was only found guilty of the possession of the firearm. Absolutely amazing, man. So good to see y'all. Thank y'all for the support, man. Oh, man, with the manatees, that was so much fun. I actually went kayaking. Well, I don't want to give too much detail. I went kayaking last year, and that was amazing, man. That water down there, getting to see all the manatees, the gators. We even saw some monkeys. It was fun, man. That was a good time. Shout out to kayaking with the manatees. Enjoy yourself. All right, let's go ahead and get to the content. Again, if y'all haven't liked the video on your way in, please make sure that you do that. Let us know that you're in here. Say what's up, show some love, and good morning to y'all as you're getting into the chat as well. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we've been covering what's been going on with Karen Read and this civil lawsuit she's facing. Now we know Peggy and the O'Keefe family is suing Karen Read, the Waterfall, and the other bar that was involved in this situation with John O'Keefe and Karen Read, and they're mentioned in this lawsuit. Karen Read's fighting against the lawsuit, and she actually filed a counterclaim against pretty much everyone that was a key witness in her criminal trial. We got Brian Higgins mentioned in that. We've got the Alberts, we've got the McCabe's, we've got Yuri, we've got Tully. So now there was a virtual hearing that took place yesterday, and we're going to get into some of the details of that. Alan Jackson's not backing down, and we're actually going to hear from Karen Read's father on how he thinks this civil trial is going to go. Check this out.
Karen Read was back this afternoon in court, sort of.
Yes, there was a virtual hearing for the civil suit the family of John O'Keefe has filed against her. NBC 10's John Maroney joins us live from Canton with details on today's developments. John.
This was a lot of legal housekeeping, but that hasn't stopped a number of recent twists in the case of Karen Read.
Karen's statements have been consistent, and they're certainly consistent with the lawsuit that's been filed in Bristol County.
The wrongful death lawsuit brought by the family of John O'Keefe front and center on Zoom, with both sides getting their legal ducks in a row. The O'Keefes are suing the Waterfall Restaurant and C.F. McCarthy's as well.
I could not be standing here without these amazing supporters.
Read was acquitted last summer in a second trial of killing her boyfriend and Boston police officer with her SUV. She was convicted of drunk driving.
If I could have just a moment, Your Honor, to confer with my client.
Alan Jackson mentioned Karen Read, but we didn't see her in any of the Zoom rooms. She filed a lawsuit this week against some of the chief criminal investigators like Michael Proctor, as well as witnesses including Brian Higgins and Brian Albert. There's now talk of joining her defamation lawsuit and the wrongful death lawsuit.
There was discussion within some of the briefing that it should be consolidated for purposes of discovery.
Judge Beverly Cannoni also moved this week to release sidebar transcripts from the criminal trials, but not the discussions with jurors. In addition, the state's Post Commission rejected Alan Jackson's request to investigate Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox of what Read's attorney says was questionable actions during the Read trial.
And we're going to get into that.
Now it will be many months before this civil trial gets underway. If at all, there is another pretrial hearing scheduled for next month. We're live in Canton, John Maroney, NBC 10 Boston.
And I'm going to be honest, I think the way they're playing this as from a legal standpoint is smart. And I thought at the beginning, the Waterfall, CF McCarthy's, they should have just settled their part of it when it comes to the wrongful death situation. And the O'Keefes, they're only looking for $50,000. So when it comes to the bars, they should be able to settle this and just have their insurance pay for it in some way. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so take that for what it is. But when it comes to Karen Read defending herself and Alan Jackson saying that they're going on the offense, they're not playing defense anymore, this is a perfect opportunity to drop the lawsuit that they did. Now we're going to get into Karen Read's father speaking out about this entire civil lawsuit situation, the lawsuit that Karen Reed just dropped, and how he still believes they need to seek justice for John O'Keefe, as we've heard so many say, including the jury foreman from Karen Reed's criminal trial. Check this out.
It's a battle. We will ultimately prevail. We will win. We've got the truth on our side.
New at 6 and only on NBC 10, we're hearing from Karen Reed's father in Dighton after she fires back in an explosive and lengthy lawsuit. Karen Reed is accusing members of the Massachusetts State Police and several Canton residents of framing her for the murder of her Boston police officer boyfriend, John O'Keefe. Good to have you with us tonight. I'm Patrice Wood.
I'm Gene Valicenti. She beat the criminal rap at a retrial. She's being sued civilly, and now she's trying to turn the tables on her accusers. As NBC 10's Molly Levine reports with a one-on-one interview with Reed's father. Molly?
Gene and Patrice, Karen Reed's father, William, is confident his daughter and her team will prevail because he says they have the truth on their side.
It's going to be a while, but it will be resolved.
3.5 years, 2 trials, and an acquittal later. Now Karen Reed is fighting back.
This is an innocent woman who's been set up, who's been framed. This is a cause for justice.
Yep. A 46-page lawsuit filed Monday is against several members of Massachusetts State Police and most of the people at the 2022 house party at 34 Fairview Road in Canton. That includes Brian Higgins, the homeowners, the Alberts, and the McCabe's. Reed says John O'Keefe's murder was pinned on her, and the complaint accuses troopers of ignoring, destroying, and even planting evidence.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't go across the street and get the Ring camera footage, let alone enter the house during the investigation while there's a dead body laying in the front lawn. All right, come on.
Can't look at these trials, inverted videos at the Sally Port. John O'Keefe's shredded hoodie, all of the witnesses whose testimony was questioned. People are aware what's gone on.
In a joint statement, the attorneys for the residents named called the lawsuit defamatory and without merit, insisting their clients were witnesses caught in the middle of a conspiracy theory manufactured by Reed and blogger Turtle Boy.
What do you think about the response that this lawsuit just furthers a fuel that this is a conspiracy theory?
The truth will be told. The truth will come out. Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
And the suit comes around the same time former Assistant U.S. Attorney Adam Deitch, who had a leading role in the federal investigation into the handling of the Karen Reed case, announced he's taking up residence in Quincy so he can run for Norfolk County District Attorney.
I am heartened by that news. This is an individual who probably has a rich perspective of what went on.
For Karen Reed and her family, the fight will be long and challenging, but as her team says, no quit.
She's lost 2 positions at Fidelity, at Bentley, had to sell her home, lost her vehicle, had to liquidate her 401, right? She's lost a lot, and plus she's had to face the threat every day that this state was going to put her away for the rest of her natural life. You can't look at this as just one outcome. If we're successful, as I believe we will be, then we will ultimately know what happened to Boston police officer John O'Keefe.
Yes, absolutely.
And the attorney for the O'Keefe family didn't immediately have a comment on the suit. As for Karen Reed and where she is now, her father says she travels a lot and is constantly in communication with her legal team. You can watch my full interview with William on our WJAR YouTube channel. I'm live in studio, Molly Levine, NBC 10 News.
And shout out to NBC 10. They actually have the full interview here. I'm not going to play the full interview because I think we heard the key parts of what Karen Reed's father had to say here. And I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to access this video. But it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I am thinking specifically about how much it's going to cost everyone mentioned in Karen Reed's countersuit to pay for attorneys. They're going to have to fight this. Every single one of them listed there is going to have to get representation. Then they're going to have to go through the process. Then we still have to wait for the judge to decide if this is always going to be into one case or if it's going to be separate. And we're going to see and be talking about Karen Reed well into 2027. This is not even a question unless a lot of this gets settled. I can't imagine that the Alberts, I can't imagine that the McCabe's or Brian Higgins or Yuri Buchanan or Michael Proctor or Brian Tully would settle. We saw the interview that they did. They stood 10 tones down on the fact that they're the victims here. Karen Reed should be settling with them. Karen Reed should be paying them money for all the issues they had to deal with as a result of allegedly Turtle Boy and Karen Reed doing what they did. So let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. I'll leave a link to the full interview in the description. This is just the beginning for sure. Shout out to the gang. We've got 6,000 of y'all in here. Thank you to everybody that's in the building, man. Good to see y'all. They raised 26,000 so far. They being who? And shout out to Donovan in the building. Who raised 26,000? The McCabe's, the Alberts, Karen Reed. Who's out here raising money? Let me know. And we got another topic we're gonna get into here as well, because man, I didn't realize that News 10 was gonna steal a little bit of my thunder talking about what happened with Commissioner Cox. So we got to get into that here in a second. We've been talking about what's been going on in the back and forth between Commissioner Cox, Alan Jackson, and just Alan Jackson going after everybody in the Boston PD and even the MSP. I need to get Alan Jackson's picture up here. Oh, you're saying the McAlberts already raised $26,000 so far? Wow. Did people watch this trial? For those of you who are out here, and again, we welcome all differing opinions on this channel, as long as it's respectful. To those of you who are out here who believe Karen Reed is guilty, how are you going to, how do you still believe that Karen Reed is guilty? I want to know what piece of evidence or what testimony led you to believe that Karen Reed was the one who killed John O'Keefe, because I'm just shocked that they are able to get that much support. Now, if you think about BPD and if you think about the Boston Police Department, maybe a lot of the support and money that they're raising has come from there. Maybe it's not from people who are out here who actually observed and watched the trial. It's pretty hard to tell, but that's still amazing to me. They've raised $26,000. Does the not guilty come into play with the civil suits? Yes. Yes, that can be brought up, and I believe it will be. They're going to need a lot more than that. I mean, this is going to go on for a long time. And they'll have 30 days to answer to this lawsuit. It's going to be interesting. All right, let's get into our next topic, because this was mentioned earlier, and it's going to be years. It's going to be years for sure. We mentioned this earlier, and we're going to get into Alan Jackson's letter to the mayor and requesting that the post commission actually investigate and place Michael Cox on the Brady list. But we've got some more news when it comes to what's going on in Norfolk County. Now, many of you know the name Michael Morrissey. If I say the name Michael Morrissey, a lot of you are either going to cringe, get triggered, or just roll your eyes. Michael Morrissey is still the district attorney of Norfolk County. And now it's looking like he has a new challenger that is going to face him for that position coming up in this recent election. Now, looking at this as a whole, we all saw, and I can say from personal experience being here in Fulton County, we all saw what happened with District Attorney Fani Willis right here in Fulton County. We saw the conduct of the Honorable Judge Earl Glanville during this YSL trial. We saw Fani Willis and how she handled this election interference case against President Donald Trump, how she misrepresented a lot of things on the stand. I'll say it that way, allegedly, how she refused to give basic access to Freedom of Information Act requests through her office. I mean, so many issues with Fani Willis, right? Even with all of that, she had someone who was running against her who wasn't really as experienced as a district attorney or in this type of position. And Fani Willis, with everything that happened, with everything that was going on, still got over 60-something%. I want to say 68% of the vote here in Fulton County. So I bring that up to say, when it comes to Michael Morrissey and Norfolk County, a lot of people are not up to date on some of the cases that are going on and some of the big cases that are going on in their own county and in their own state and in their own city. So it's cool and it's interesting to see that somebody's going to be running against Michael Morrissey. But I just want to put it out there. It's highly likely that this man, who has been in office since 2010, could still be in there. Let's see what we have to say here and who's going to be running against Michael Morrissey.
A former federal prosecutor says he wants to be the next Norfolk County DA. And Adam Deitch says part of the reason he's running is in response to the handling of high-profile cases like the death of John O'Keefe and Sandra Birchmore.
Might not be enough.
I can't tell you how many times I have looked at evidence in certain cases or been in meetings where afterwards I say, what on earth is going on in Norfolk County? Somebody needs to do something.
Now, he actually worked on the federal investigation into John O'Keefe's death, so he could not speak on that matter specifically. Two other candidates have officially announced their run for the office. Current DA Michael Morrissey hasn't said yet whether he plans to run again.
Yeah, I can imagine that he will. So let's get into this article, find out more information about Adam, see what he's got going on, and if he has much of a chance to make it and to become the new Norfolk County DA. Check this out. Federal prosecutor who probed Karen Reed case jumps into the Norfolk DA race. Adam Deitch touted his experience putting a microscope to entrenched institutions and pledged accountability and integrity. As a federal prosecutor, Adam investigated Norfolk County authorities over their controversial handling of the Karen Reed case. Now he's running to replace the longtime district attorney who put Karen Reed on trial for murder. Deitch is 42, touted his experience putting a microscope to entrenched institutions and pledged to build accountability and integrity in an office beset by public outcry over a string of recent controversies. Well, they already have integrity according to Yuri Buchanan, right? Right? Shout out to Michael Proctor. The former assistant U.S. attorney once focused on corruption cases across Massachusetts, prosecuting former state police troopers involved in the commercial driver's license scandal and local activist Monica Cannon Grant for defrauding donors to her nonprofit. Deitch stepped down from his position and his post in November 7th to run for Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey's seat. I've been proud to stand shoulder to shoulder every day of my career as a prosecutor with outstanding hard work. Police officers, troopers, and federal agents, Deitch said in a statement. However, he continued, I've also seen firsthand what happens when police and prosecutors take shortcuts, rush to judgment, and they stubbornly won't consider other possibilities, or they just blatantly disregard the law and try and paint someone as a criminal when they're not. There's that part too. Innocent people are wrongfully accused, crimes go unsolved, and bad cops are protected while good officers lose faith. That's what we need to change in Norfolk County. As a DA, can you change some of that? Yes, but it really goes down to the commissioner and how the Norfolk County Police Department is handled. The district attorney more focuses on how things are indicted, right? The information and everything that's collected before then is still going to be on the MSP, is still going to be on the Norfolk Police Department, the Canton Police Department. So the district attorney is not going to be in the Canton Police Department saying, hey, what's going on here? What are you guys doing? Nope. You got to go through the sheriff. And if the sheriff's handling things a certain way, the commissioner's handling things a certain way, as a district attorney, are you really going to be able to change that? Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. Adam joins 3 other Democrats who have already announced their campaign for the Norfolk DA. Michael Morrissey, who was elected to the post in 2010, he's been there forever, hasn't indicated whether he plans to run for re-election. However, the sitting DA has largely remained out of the public eye since Karen Reed's acquittal. Karen Reed, 45, was accused of drunkenly backing her SUV into her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, while dropping him off at an after party in Canton in January of 2020. She's long contended she was framed in a law enforcement cover-up, and jurors found her not guilty of murder twice and manslaughter charges in June. Though Deitch's federal probe into the case yielded no charges or arrest, the investigations had an impact, on Reed's 2 murder trials. The probe not only revealed ex-trooper Michael Proctor's unsavory text about Reed, and now we're finding out 13 years worth of cloud data, but also yielded 2 crash reconstruction experts who testified for the defense, and John O'Keefe's injuries were inconsistent with having been struck by Karen Reed's SUV. On Tuesday, Reed filed a lawsuit against several witnesses and the state police investigators she alleged concocted a plan and conspired to frame her. Reed's criminal case was a flashpoint in Norfolk County, as was the death of Sandra Birchmore, a 23-year-old pregnant woman allegedly killed by a former police detective who groomed her in her teenage years. We've talked about and covered that case here as well. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you go back and watch the videos where we cover that. Morrissey's office and the state medical examiner initially declared Birchmore's death a self-deletion, almost said it on YouTube, and no criminal charges were filed until federal prosecutors stepped in last year. Thank God. And they upgraded Sandra Birchmore's charges to include her unborn child. They found out it was going to be a boy, a baby boy. Speaking to the Boston Globe, Deitch cited the Reed and Birchmore cases as he explained his decision to leave his dream job, selling his condominium in East Boston, and moved to Quincy to run for office. I left my job as a federal prosecutor because it's clear there's a problem in Norfolk County, Deitch said in the statement. Victims are not getting the justice they deserve. The public has lost faith in the system, and someone has to do something about it. Well, I think the bigger issue is going to be getting people in Norfolk County to care. Do the people in Norfolk County care enough? Are the voters going to turn out? Are they just going to see Michael Morrissey's name and be like, yeah, check Michael Morrissey next? I don't even know who this Adam Deitch guy is. We'll have to wait and see. Before joining the U.S. Attorney's Office, Deitch worked at Procure, I'm sure I said that wrong, Rose LLP, and volunteered with the Innocence Project, according to his campaign. Nice. In the race to replace Morrissey, he's up against former Suffolk County prosecutors Dee Perkins, Craig McClellan, as well as public defense attorney Jim Baccarat. This campaign is more than electing a new district attorney, Deitch said. It's about building a culture of accountability and integrity where professional police work protects victims, not insiders, and where we follow the evidence no matter where it leads or who it implicates. We'll have to wait and see. Is an outsider, a technical outsider, going to be welcomed by Norfolk County? I want to know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. If Morrissey runs, he's been there a long time. He's probably going to have a good chance at getting reelected again. We'll have to wait and see. And we've got 7,000 of y'all in the building. Oh my goodness. Thank y'all. And thank y'all for being active in the chat too. I think I missed somebody that stopped by. Shout out to those of y'all who are just joining us as well. What did Amy say? She said they need a whole new everything in Massachusetts. Yes, that is an understatement. Absolutely. Okay, you started from the beginning of the live. I appreciate y'all going back and rewinding and watching too. Oh, Les Cleaver's in here. We got to give him a round of applause, man. One of the hardest working gentlemen that I know. And he's so supportive, man, even in here on a Saturday where he should be resting up. Les Cleaver's in here showing support. Thank you, man. Good to see you in the building. All right, let's go ahead and get into this next topic. I promised y'all we were going to talk about Commissioner Cox and we were going to talk about Alan Jackson. So it's looking like, boy, oh boy. This is the way the law is set up is somewhat interesting and frustrating at the same time. You just have so many people who are connected, and it seems like a lot of incentive for those in power to not, quote, do the right thing. I use that somewhat ironically, but we got to talk about Michael Morrissey here. So when it comes to Michael Cox, the commissioner of the Boston Police Department, there was a whole situation he had with Alan Jackson. Obviously, there was a lot going on with Kelly Dever, a lot going on with Commissioner Michael Cox when it comes to their involvement in the Karen Reed trial. It's alleged that Commissioner Michael Cox was talking with the FBI. He found out that Kelly Dever was going to be involved in the Karen Reed trial. He immediately, the next day, booked an appointment with her. Kelly Dever came to his office, and he allegedly said and told her to do the right thing, quote unquote. Kelly Dever got up on the stand. She, I guess, did the right thing. We don't know what he meant by that or what else was said in this meeting. Kelly Dever acted like she didn't even remember the meeting. And Commissioner Michael Cox said it was just a regular meeting. It was a coincidence. He didn't even know Kelly Dever was involved in the Karen Reed trial. That came out to be a lie. Alan Jackson, he saw this. He already got Dever fired or made her resign. What? Now he said, Commissioner Michael Cox, you are next. He wrote a letter to the mayor and to the Post Commission asking them to put Michael Cox on the Brady list because he said this.
Your name came up during the recent Karen Reed trial. You got a visit from Officer Kelly Dever. The defense implied that you influenced her testimony. Do you want to respond to that?
I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. Matter of fact, I didn't even know this person was associated with the Karen Reed case. You know, I have an organization full of over 3,000 people, and we support all our folks. And the reality is that, I get information passed on whether people are high or low, and I encourage everyone, right? And if you're going to work here and you belong here, then we're going to encourage you. I have no idea what they're talking about with Karen Reed. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. No discussion about
Did you tell Officer Dever to do the right thing?
I didn't know she was even associated with that case.
So he didn't say no. He didn't tell her to do the right thing. He just said, I didn't know she was associated, which we're going to see soon is a lie.
You know, I don't know. I was struck like, what do I have to do with the Karen Reed race? I never had said those words together. And so the fact is, it's much to do about nothing. We have employees here that we have to develop and encourage and do things, and I do that for tons of our employees.
Do you feel that you were inappropriately drawn into this?
That case is over, and we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about. I have nothing to do with Karen Reed. I was in the state of Michigan.
Thank you for sharing.
So Alan Jackson saw these blatant lies, and he sent this letter to the mayor and the director of the Post Commission. We're going to hear from them in a second. And what did Alan Jackson say? Immediate Brady listing and post review of Commissioner Michael Cox. He has the quote here. He says exactly and everything that we just heard Michael Cox say. But this is the important part and the reason that Alan Jackson wrote this letter, mainly because of this. Newly obtained evidence proves that Cox knowingly misrepresented his involvement on February 22nd, 2024. The FBI's Boston field office sent Commissioner Cox an email explicitly referencing Dever and the Karen Reed investigation. Why are you lying, bro? Why? The email from Assistant Special Agent in Charge Stephen Kelleher to Michael Cox said this. Just a reminder, the documents were released to the DA's office late last night. The officer we spoke about is Kelly Dever. Guess what happened the very next day? On February 23rd, 2024 at 11 a.m., Cox's official calendar lists the meeting with Officer Kelly Dever. Is that a coincidence?
Stop the cap.
Did Michael Cox have a false memory?
Stop the cap.
Exactly as Dever would later testify and Cox would deny, the timeline is indisputable. So Alan Jackson said all that. Michael Cox got up in front of the news and lied, and Alan Jackson was waiting for a response for the Post Commission. Well, now we have their response here, and this is going to be an interesting one. Something we talked about before with people in power just needing to do the right thing. The law is a crazy place. What do they say? To Alan Jackson via email. Dear Attorney Jackson, on behalf of the Massachusetts Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, the Post Commission, I am responding to your letter of October 27, 2025 regarding Boston Police Commissioner Michael Cox. In your letter, you requested that the commission initiate a full disciplinary review for dishonesty, lack of candor, and conduct unbecoming of an officer under Boston Police Department Policy 102. Well, Here's the problem with that. The post commission is going to get into it. Under the commission's governing statutes, as relevant here, a law enforcement officer includes any officer of any agency, including the head of the agency. The city of Boston has informed the commission that, pursuant to the department policies and governing statutes, the Boston Police Commissioner is a civilian executive. Useless. So what they're saying is, this guy, he's not even a police officer, doesn't have a badge, hasn't went to police training. So we are not in charge of what this man does, how he lies. He's basically a politician. He's a figurehead. He's a person who sits in the office and is in charge of everybody who does have a badge and who has these powers. And he doesn't actually fall under the category of law enforcement himself, which is insane. Learn something new every day. What do they say? The city of Boston has informed the commission that, pursuant to department policies and governing statutes, the Boston Police Commissioner is a civilian executive, not a sworn law enforcement officer. According to the city, Commissioner Cox does not personally carry out police duties and functions. Based in part on this information, the commission thus far has not required nor sworn civilian executives such as Commissioner Cox to obtain law enforcement certification, nor has the commission treated them as being subject to other statutory and regulatory provisions governing sworn law enforcement officers. They basically say, hey, it's not our job. We can't do anything about it. He can lie. He can say whatever he said, and there's nothing that we can do because we're not in charge of him. Maybe you need to go take this up with the mayor, I guess. I don't know. However, the commission is currently re-examining its policies regarding civilians who are involved in overseeing law enforcement agencies. It's like, yeah, maybe we should be able to hold accountable the guy who's in charge of every single police officer. We're going to look at that, Alan Jackson. Thank you for bringing that up. The commission thanks you for informing us of your views in this matter. Your comments have been influential with respect to the commission's ongoing refinement, I think that's what it says, of its policies concerning the treatment of civilian authorities. All right. And then they say, while the commission would ordinarily forward a copy of this complaint, such as yours, to the relevant appointing authority, the commission understands that your letter was also addressed directly to the person, namely Boston Mayor Wu. So they really did just say, hey, man, you got to take this up with the mayor. There's nothing we could do. We're not his boss, which makes sense. But I think learning about how everything goes, it's crazy to see that the commissioner cannot be held responsible by the post commission. He's not a police officer. So Alan Jackson, I can imagine that he knew this would be the case, but maybe we're learning something together. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. We'll have to see if Mayor Wu does anything with this situation here, and if she just allows Michael Cox to continue to lie. I'm sure he'll just get a letter or a slap on the wrist, and Mayor Wu will say, yeah, we saw those comments, and due to recent evidence that's come to light, we'll be having a discussion with Commissioner Cox about his conduct before the media. Such BS, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Wild, man. Shout out to Les Cleaver. Dropping the 5-bomb in here. What does he say? I'm here and God bless each of you. You are all a blessing and are a blessing to this channel. That's right. You are with family here. Please click the like button. It's free. And it looks like most of y'all have actually clicked the like button. We got 7,000 of you in here and 5,000 of you liked the video. Thank y'all so much for the support. If you could, hit the like button. It's free. Takes less than a second, and I promise it will not hurt. 100% Deborah should have told the truth. I truly think that she was threatened to lie. Lots of bodies wanted this to go quiet. And Turtle Boy even was calling her out and said, listen, Kelly Deverett, your career's over. You're not going to be a police officer again. You're not going back to BPD. He's like, just come on to my show, tell the truth, let people know. Let us know what happened. They're not going to protect you. They don't care. They threw you under the bus like we knew they would. So maybe she'll go over there. They're useless. And the governor too, she doesn't do anything either. Wow, amazing deflection. It could only happen in this way. I mean, the politics going politic. This last sentence was hilarious. While the commission would ordinarily forward a copy of a complaint such as yours to the relevant appointing authority, the commission understands that your letter was also addressed directly to that person, namely Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. And there's an article several people are saying in this thread that Michael Cox was named as Boston's next cop, which is crazy. And even I want to see this with the AP News. Shout out to AP News. They said Michael Cox sworn in as Boston's police commissioner. Swearing in as a police commissioner, I guess, is not the same thing as being a police officer or having a badge. Absolutely wild, man. Let's go ahead and get into our next topic. We got to get into some conspiracy theorist stuff. We're going to talk about Tyler Robinson and actually some new evidence that's coming out when it comes to the Charlie Kirk assassination investigation. Let me see if I can find a picture of Tyler here. I know I've got one of him somewhere. And then we'll get into this next topic. Again, thank y'all so much for the love, man. Appreciate everybody who's liked the video and supported as well. Where's Tyler? I thought I had one up here for him. I guess not. We're going to have to put Charlie Kirk up there. So we've been talking a lot about what Candace Owens has had to say about this investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination, what's been going on with people who were speaking out that were close to the situation. And it's starting to get really weird as we get closer to trial. Why can't I find this picture here? Maybe I'll just get Candace Owens. So let's do it this way and we'll go ahead and get into it. Yeah, y'all are shaking your head about Commissioner Cox. It's just the way it goes, man. What are you going to do? All right, let's get into it. So it looks like we're finding out more information when it comes to Tyler Robinson and his involvement in the Charlie Kirk assassination. Now, the story is Tyler Robinson found out that there was video of him and the FBI was doing their investigation. They put the video out there. He got scared. He got upset and he turned himself into the police and was like, hey, I don't want y'all to shoot me. I'll be willing to go peacefully. Just leave me alone, leave my family alone, and we'll be all good. And a lot of people were speculating about that it was a very strange situation. One, because we didn't see anything from the police about them arresting Tyler Robinson, which is weird. But also, why would Tyler Robinson be so afraid in this situation? Was he told something that, hey, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Just do what you got to do and we'll take care of you. And then he saw that his picture was being blasted all over the place and maybe they deviated from the plan. Who knows what's going on here? Now we're finding out from News 12 that there's possible missing evidence when it comes to the Charlie Kirk assassination. Let's go ahead and hear it straight from the source, and then we'll get into another article. We'll get into this article about what went on with this investigation. Check it out.
Rudy Bautista is a Rule 8 attorney, qualifications only select number of defense attorneys in Utah have in order to defend cases with a capital offense, some involving a possible death penalty. He's not affiliated with the case involving Tyler Robinson, who's accused of shooting and killing Charlie Kirk back in September. I showed him what I found that could indicate there's potential missing evidence in the case.
He said, hey, I know who Charlie Kirk's shooter is.
On September 17th, 2025, Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby held a press conference.
Our job was not to interview. Our job was just to get him here.
After Charlie Kirk's alleged shooter was taken into custody in Washington County less than 2 days after the shooting.
Within the hour, my friend drove Tyler and his parents to my office. where he was greeted by plainclothes detectives.
After learning of this, I submitted a public records request to obtain any video of Tyler Robinson walking into the jail facility. Washington County responded saying there were no records responsive to the request, as Robinson did not go to the jail area. Our request for any holding room video was denied. A few weeks later, I re-upped the request on a more generalized scale for surveillance video showing Tyler Robinson walking into the sheriff's office.
For the state of Utah, we would certainly hope that this video is available.
The response? Our office does not have any applicable records responsive to this request, as the surveillance footage is no longer available after the 30-day retention period.
What? So somebody has to have this video. The federal government, the FBI, has to have this video. Because you're going to tell me this man was turning himself in. There was no body cam footage. There wasn't any footage at the police department. How could this be the case?
For the state of Utah, we would certainly hope that this video is available.
The response? Our office does not have any applicable records responsive to this request, as the surveillance footage is no longer available after the 30-day retention period.
If, in fact, it has been destroyed and not preserved, it's very concerning. And if it has, then it's very concerning that they're telling you they don't have it. If they no longer have it, I would have expected to say that this video has been provided to the Utah County law enforcement. Please contact them. But instead, this letter leads, in my opinion, as trying to shut the door and not give you free access to the press.
While it's not clear if the video exists and was just handed over to another agency, in a response to me, Washington County shared with me they don't believe the video was shared with anyone involved in the case.
Wanting to get videos showing that he turned himself in and the manner he did so would be crucial for the defense work of mitigation.
26 years as a criminal defense attorney in Utah, Bautista is currently working another capital case in Utah County with the state intending to seek the death penalty.
Again, Mr. Kirk, by all counts, was a great young man who was helping educate people, and we encourage that. And this is very tragic that he's lost his life. But it is not a death penalty case.
When you look at this case on the surface and what you've seen play out, what stands out to you?
What stands out to me is this is not an aggravated murder case. In order for it to be an aggravated murder case, that something is that can qualify for the death penalty, there has to be an aggravating factor.
Bautista says the alleged weapon in the shooting alone doesn't meet the standard for prosecutors to seek the death penalty.
The risk of hitting someone else really isn't there. And so that's why I believe that aggravating factor is really weak. Now, why it was charged that way is clearly political.
I hope he gets the death penalty.
And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
Instead of looking at it objectively, a prosecutor is to look at the evidence objectively and then charge the person with the most applicable crime. Here, where they're saying it will be this crime, we are now taking evidence. So they're trying to make the facts fit a cause of action that is not applicable.
Bautista believes the death penalty conversation in this case was pushed too soon.
Certainly suggests abuse in our higher government.
Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray filed a notice of intent to seek the death penalty against Tyler Robinson, who's accused of shooting and killing Charlie Kirk. Gray said on September 16th, just days after the shooting, that the decision to seek the death penalty was made independently. Brian Schnee, KUTV2 News.
Again, we've been through this before. We've talked about this. A lot of the information surrounding this investigation doesn't make sense. Even as something as simple as whether Tyler Robinson acted alone or not. That doesn't make sense. We saw the text message between Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs. Lance Twiggs has since disappeared. No one has seen Lance since this entire situation went down. That doesn't make sense. Tyler turning himself in the way that he did doesn't make sense. Him making requests that he be turned in a certain way doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. A lot of this we heard in the video, but I want to reread what's going on with this situation with the surveillance video, because this doesn't make any sense to me. And I think we need to keep talking about this, because they say a public records request was filed in the Washington County Sheriff's Office for video showing Robinson entering the Washington County jail holding area and video of Robinson in the holding room. Should be something pretty basic and standard that they have, and something that wouldn't be deleted after 30 days. We do not have any records responsive to that portion of the request, as Tyler Robinson did not go to or enter the jail area. Wrote a records officer with the sheriff's office. Holding room video was denied as part of the investigation, so the investigation clearly is ongoing. It'll be interesting to see what happens after this trial takes place, if the trial takes place at all. A few weeks later, News 2 re-upped the request in a more generalized fashion, inquiring for surveillance video showing Tyler Robinson walking into Washington County Sheriff's Office. Our office does not have any applicable records responsive to this request, as the surveillance footage is no longer available after the 30-day retention period, wrote a records officer. Again, does not make any sense. We asked if the video was shared with any law enforcement or legal agency. The department responded, "It is my understanding it was never sent out to any agency." Again, that doesn't make sense. How in the world would the FBI not request or want the video of Tyler turning himself in? I mean, wouldn't they even want to have something as simple as a body language expert just observe to see what was happening and how he was feeling and how he was moving throughout this entire situation? Is something like I am not going to believe that the FBI, they did their investigation, as Kash Patel so eloquently put it. They just said, "Hey, we're good. We got him." The Governor Cox was like, "Oh, hey, we got him, guys. We're all good. Investigation over. FBI, you guys can go home. Let's see if we give him the death penalty." This just doesn't add up at all. Legal analysis on the missing video. News 2 took questions to Rudy Batista, a criminal defense attorney of 26 years in Utah who works on capital cases, including a current case in Utah County involving the death penalty. And he basically says, "I don't think this is a death penalty case." Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. For them not to have this video at all, can we ask, okay, where was Tyler Robinson taken? Was he taken to an FBI dark site and interrogated there? Did they take him somewhere for his own safety? How do we get that information? How do we find it out? And when are we going to be able to see that? Because when it comes to this federal trial, you'll know if it is a federal trial and it turns into a federal trial. We're not going to see any of that information. If it's a state trial, the judge is still deciding if there's going to be cameras allowed into the courtroom. So we might not hear any information there either. What's going on here? I want to know. We're going to keep talking about until we get answers. And I know Candace Owens is going to be talking about it as well. I also found the video I wanted to play for somebody who knew Tyler Robinson and spoke on this. This is one I hadn't seen before, so I wanted to share it with you guys. Check this out.
Tyler was always kind of quieter since we were little, but not like quiet weird. He, since like kindergarten, was always confident to talk to teachers and stuff, and he had kind of an inner circle that loved him, and he always was able to speak to them, and always just his energy speaking to his friends and the way he treated people overall. I don't know, I think this is really unexpected. I didn't see it coming at all. He, since I met him growing up, was always a kind, respectable, genuine kid, the kind of student that teachers liked, and all this, I feel like, not just to me, but everyone else, has come really unexpected. He was always just like the type A student, the one that got stuff done on time, the one that always did his homework, admired by like adults and always respected adults and peers and friends, authority figures, and everything like that.
There it is, y'all. A lot of questions, and I don't know. I mean, shout out to Candace Owens. We're going to talk about Candace in a minute. This isn't making sense. I stand with Candace on this one, man. What is going on? Why don't we have answers to some of these simple questions? Why can't we get access to a video that somebody would have to have? I mean, just why haven't they released that to the public yet? Even if it's a part of the investigation and the investigation's ongoing, then who has it? Who has this video? We could go and break down these comments in so many ways. I'm going to leave it alone for now. We're going to talk about Candace Owens in a second. Let me shout out Les Cleaver in the building. Dropping another super chat over there. What did he say? What did Les Cleaver say? He dropped a 10 bomb and he said, writing on the phone has its problems. However, I appreciate ClassE and Amy. God bless you and your family. Thank you, Les Cleaver. God bless you and yours as well. God bless each of you. All of you are a blessing here. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for the support and love, Les Cleaver. I appreciate you. Hopefully you have a great Thanksgiving as well. We're still going to be here throughout Thanksgiving week, so y'all make sure you stick around. If you haven't yet, I haven't asked for this in a while. Y'all make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live, because we're still going to be here going into this week as well. And we got another super chat. Look at my guy, Dr. EJ in here, just gifted 20 memberships. Oh my goodness. So there's at least 20 of y'all that should be saying thank you to Dr. EJ. Wow, always showing up and showing out. Amazing, amazing man. Great at what he does and continues to support the channel and stop by as well. Happy Saturday, my guy. Good to see you in here, Dr. EJ. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you have a great Thanksgiving this next coming week too. Y'all make sure, can y'all spam Dr. EJ in the chat, man? Shout out to Dr. EJ. Amazing, man. Thank you for the love with the 20 gifted memberships. If you got a membership, make sure you check out the members only content. Say thank you to Dr. EJ. Your name's going to be highlighted in green and you get exclusive access and instant access to all the videos we drop here on the channel. Thank you so much, man. Always good to see him in here too with the 20 bomb. All right, let's get into it. We got to talk more conspiracy theories here in a second. Dr. EJ said, ClassE, keep up the great work, great content. Happy Thanksgiving. You keep up the great work too, Dr. EJ. We need you. You know that. Everything you do is so important, man. Shout out to Dr. EJ. Dr. EJ with the baller support. Thank you, Dr. EJ. Shout out to my guy, man. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. So Candace Owens has really been doubling down on the situation with the Egyptian planes that were seen or even tracked taking off and re-landing during the time Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Great. We're going to get into some of the background there. I want to take this clip that Candace Owens said and read it from Shadows of Ezra. They've been covering this and taking some great clips from Candace Owens' live stream as well. I will make sure I leave a link in the description to every single one of the live streams that's mentioned here, so you guys can go get the full context from Candace, and you can go over there and support her as well, because she puts in a lot of work into the content that she makes. She says, Candace Owens reveals that the Egyptian planes she believed were tailing Charlie Kirk were actually tracking Erica instead. Over the past year, the planes followed Erica internationally, with more than 60 instances where the locations overlap. In total, the Egyptian aircraft coincided with Erica's flights around 70 times in recent years. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. And I actually have to unmute X. Give me a second. Boom, here we go.
15 hours of research.
It's kind of wild.
And was able to discern that the person the planes were actually tracking for years was Erica. Not Charlie, but Erica was the one being tracked by these planes. And indeed, it turns out that she was correct. She discovered that between 2022 and September of 2025, both of those aircrafts, SU-BTT, the yellow plane, and SU-BND, the blue plane, showed 68 overlaps with Erica's documented locations, okay? 68 overlaps. I have since been able to add now 73 times that this overlapped, okay? And 29 of those instances also happened to include Charlie. Charlie was also present. And that's what I was stumbling upon when I was looking into this. I was like, why is this plane where Charlie is? The flights were majority clustered within 5 states, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Delaware, and Utah. And it's a pattern that she believes is statistically not random. I'm telling you this information has been completely verified. I am showing you this on a spreadsheet now. These are all the instances in which this plane, all 68 instances, that this plane crossed with Erica. And I'm also going to say this includes overseas as well. Okay.
Weird.
So my instant question becomes, why didn't Turning Point acknowledge that this plane was familiar to them? When I was taking all of these figurative online bullets, someone could have easily said something, right? That's kind of a repeat thing in this investigation. Josh Hammer lies, I get attacked, Turning Point just stays silent. They know he's lying, but they allow the lie to flow. Alex Clark lies, I get attacked, I'm telling the truth. Turning Point knows it, but they kind of allow this like Catholic thing, lie to flow. And the influencers are allowed to lie. Nobody at Turning Point ever just steps to clarify that I'm onto something or I'm telling the
Uh-oh, is that the end of the clip? Hold on a second. Here we
truth
go.
about something. And when it comes to these Egyptian flights, the math on this is indisputable. There is less than a 0.000000001% probability, okay, under random distribution models that these Egyptian planes coincidentally landed around Erica at these times. Like I said, this plane was not just with her in America, it was also tracking her overseas as well. I flagged this because I was alarmed because I thought it was tracking Charlie. And I am telling you that this plane, in addition to Charlie, and primarily actually was tracking Erica. Now, let's get to the day of the assassination.
Okay, so she's going to talk about that a little bit later. There's also information here that says Candace Owens now believes that they were tracking Erica Kirk and not Charlie Kirk. And she gives more information in this instance as well. So let's play this video.
Okay. So you have to remember that Charlie landed into Salt Lake.
And this is very important. Good morning to everyone stopping by. All right, give me a second.
Okay. So you have to remember that Charlie landed into Salt Lake City at 9:23 a.m. local time. I suspect that if he had instead landed into Provo, he would have recognized the blue Egyptian plane, okay? It's not every day that you see an Egyptian military craft. It is now my well-informed opinion that he would have looked at that plane and he would have recognized the blue plane and he would have instantly realized that something was amiss. And now I'm going to explain to you very carefully why.
Interesting.
I suspect that it is highly likely that Charlie would have recognized that plane. Okay, tail number SUBND, the blue plane. A pregnant mommy sleuth who was locked into this investigation discovered something that me and my team had missed. I consider her, obviously, and all of you to be my decentralized intelligence agents. Anyway, she sent me a rather urgent email, and I'm obviously protecting her identity for reasons that are clear. But I want you to know that this discovery is due entirely to her. She is the person that in this regard went max for Charlie when I missed something. Her email stated in effect that I was only partially right about the plane tracking Charlie, that she had done an additional 15 hours of research and was able to discern that the person the planes were actually tracking for years was Erica. Not Charlie, but Erica was the.
Okay, and we already heard this clip, so I'm not going to replay that, but I want to get also into Candace Owens' recent live stream where she talked about some of the issues that were going on at Turning Point USA and why they were deflecting from a lot of this information that she was simply and easily finding through some of her sources. Check this out.
The list of Turning Point lies is just getting longer every day. Yesterday, we talked about Brian Harpole, the security guy who was not convincing at all. And he basically said, we didn't have drones because looking at the rooftops, because I wasn't allowed to have drones, right? We just were not allowed to have drones that day. A lot of you emailed us and said that was a lie, actually. Again, going back to the early interviews that a lot of TPUSA people gave Frank Turek, who was with Charlie on the day that he died, with Charlie in the hospital and carried Charlie into the waiting SUV, he told Megyn Kelly something different about drones on that day. Take a listen.
Interesting.
In fact, when we were driving into that event, this is the first event I've gone to a college campus with Charlie. He said, Frank, if you can come help me the first couple of days, could you stay an extra day and come with me to the first event? I said, of course. So we're driving in, Megan, and his team has drones up looking at the crowd from above, and they text him some video. And there's thousands of people there an hour before the start. And I said, Charlie, I don't like this place. There's too many buildings. And but he shrugged it off. He knew there were thousands of people there. And he knew in order to minister to people, you can't completely isolate yourself.
Dang.
It's just like love. You can't keep your heart in a box. You got to give it away.
Where's the drone footage?
His team had drones. They were texting him footage when he was in the car. So Brian Harpole lied. You see, I used to lay in my grandma's bed and watch Judge Judy with my grandma growing up. And a lot of it, actually, my grandma had a bad hip. So she sometimes had surgeries and we'd watch Judge Judy. And I remember in my brain, maybe Judge Judy made me like this. I don't know. But she used to say, if you lie, you better have a good memory. That's the problem with lies. You got to have a real good memory to lie. When you're telling the truth, you don't have to have a good memory because it just happens. So you just say it. And Turning Point is not having a very good memory right now. And it's hard because they did so much speaking in the aftermath that they can't go back and delete files. And so we can add that to our list now of verifiable Turning Point lies. This list is, by the way, we're on 2 pages. Here's a second page.
Interesting.
It's getting long. And I'm wondering why any lies are being told.
That's what she
said. Right? Brian did this interview months later, and they still don't have their ducks in a row. By the way, elsewhere in that interview with Brian Harpole, the security guy, with Sean Ryan, he reiterates, he doubles down on the idea that Charlie ate 3,000 pounds of energy coming at him. Take a listen.
So the bullet came in and hit the vertebra. So it came in and then tore up everything in the wound cavity, hit the vertebra, crushed it, shattered it, turned, crushed the second one, turned, kept going down all the way. I think they said C6.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like, why not put that info out? Why not put it out? And then
why wouldn't they put that out?
And if do me a favor, don't make me do it. It's not my job. And so then it got to here, and you're exactly right. And then hit, I think, 6, and then fragged. And so explanation 101. What are you hiding? Yeah. It's like I'm sitting back here when people are saying we bombed him or there's a wound. I'm like, hey, if somebody would, from an official capacity, would just release that. And I don't see how that could jeopardize a fair trial for a guy.
Great point.
So to be clear, the only person that can actually release his autopsy report is Erica, next of kin. That's given to the next of kin. That's like the Utah state policy. If he's suggesting that the feds are blocking her from doing that, I mean, she's
probably scared.
In that statement, why not just release it? They could in theory just release it. And yeah, it's not going to jeopardize anything. The reason they're sending you out to do it is because they don't want to be caught lying themselves. The feds have told a ton of lies. That's the problem. And they don't want to add to it. So it's easier to send out a security person and say, oh, we never said that. He said that. If what he is saying is true, Charlie wasn't shot by a 30-06, which we've been telling you from the beginning. Okay? We've been telling you Charlie was not shot by a 30-06. He was not that damaged. I told you this. I've confirmed this. Okay? And so you are left to believe that this really was a modern day miracle. And that bullet came at him from 150 yards, 3,000 pounds of energy, and it just pinged off the back of his neck and went down into his stomach. Or Charlie was shot with a smaller weapon. Okay.
When I first heard this, I said it. I said that's not what it sounded like. So much of this doesn't make sense. You're asking, if you're wondering why I keep talking about this, it's because something's not adding up. A lot of this isn't adding up. And we see Erica Kirk, she's out here still doing press runs, still talking about what's going on, using the platform to grow what they're doing and the mission at Turning Point USA. But this is a woman who's standing next to the president. You think she's going to start asking questions? That's why we need Candace Owens. We have to find out the truth, because just from a basic level, none of this makes sense. I want to know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. I'm going to leave a link to the full live stream from Candace Owens so y'all can check it out and go over as a supporter. Just give it a listen. I don't agree with everything Candace Owens says, but I do have a little bit of common sense, maybe a couple ounces of common sense. And this whole thing is starting to look really, really, really weird. Let me know what y'all think. Man, I don't know if we'll ever get the truth, man. Shout out to Amy for dropping the cake, reminding me not only that she has the cakiest cake I ever caked in here, but I do need to make sure that lunch is acquired. So shout out to Amy for the love and support, everything that you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Absolutely amazing, man. Y'all show Amy some love in the chat. I just wonder why she doesn't wait and gather and do one big expose, but what do I know? She's talked about it, because the lies are just adding up. The things that don't make sense, they're starting to stack up. So she waits for them to say and speak certain things, so it's on the record, as he said, in live in 4K, and then she brings out the receipts and says, sorry guys, you said there wasn't drone footage. This man in an interview said there were drones there. We're missing these videos on Tyler Robinson. Where's the autopsy report? How long is this going to be an ongoing investigation? How much evidence is going to keep missing? And Candace, she's made it very clear she is not backing down, nor should she, in my opinion. And we're going to continue to support that here as well. I think she's onto something, and I think she's going to keep digging till everyone has the truth. I hope so. The whole point of this is for everyone to help the investigation process. You know, the surgeon used the words vertebrae or steel vertebrae. Man, get out of here. Miss Candace is definitely on the job. She's smart to put out things. I think so too. I hope she keeps going. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for the support on the Saturday stream. We're going to be back here in 48 hours. We're going to be doing another live stream on Monday, so make sure y'all tune in for that. We've got some clips dropping for you throughout the afternoon, along with a bunch of other videos. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. Appreciate everyone who supported. Shout out to Les Cleaver in there, Nana Banana, being a member for a year. And of course, Dr. EJ, my dog. Shout out to Dr. EJ and the beautiful Amy E for supporting as always. Hope y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. As always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gon' pace. Y'all have a good one, man.